Good day, Deep in Word family. Welcome to day 167 of our Bible study review. Today we're going through two chapters, which is 34 and 35 of the book of Ezekiel. Chapter 34 opens up with a prophecy against the shepherds of Israel. Let's just start reading from verse 1. It says, "And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to those shepherds, Thus says the Adon Yahuah, Woe to the shepherds of Israel who feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? You eat the fat and clothe yourself with wool. You kill those who are fed without feeding the flock. The diseased you have not strengthened, nor have you healed that which was sick, nor have you bound up that which was broken, nor have you brought back that which was driven away, nor have you sought that which was lost." All right, I'm going to stop right there. And can we liken, right, the falling away of the shepherds to the falling away of pastors and preachers, right? Even rabbis now. Can we compare this to the shepherds of our day, right? Much of the flock is frail. Much of the flock is malnourished, right? They're living in lawlessness and they don't know that they're still offending the Most High, right? Because their pastors and preachers are telling them that the laws are done away with. You don't have to abide by the law of Yahuah, yet they still collect tithes from the people, which is one of his laws, right? And the tithes is for those who pastor, right? But it's also for the widows, and it's also for those who are orphaned, right? Fatherless. He's saying you are the ones with the staff who are entrusted to take care of the sheep, to watch over the sheep and make sure the sheep don't go astray, right? But many are going astray, and he's saying the shepherds, you're not pulling them back. They're starving spiritually, but you're not feeding them the true word, right? And they're walking and they're just dissipating in their sins, and you do nothing. I know plenty of pastors here in Atlanta. I have seen the videos where they are teaching that abortion is okay, right? And they were upset when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and they said that it is demonic to keep a woman from the right to kill her child. That is an example of a shepherd leading the flock astray, leading the flock into a deeper exile. The reason why the flock was exiled in the first place is because of their lawlessness, is because of idols, and they were sacrificing their children, right? The fruit of their womb, they were giving to demons. That's one of the main reasons why they were exiled. We see pastors and preachers today bowing their knee to same-sex agendas, right? Leading the flock astray, causing them to be exiled completely from the Father's presence. Pastors and preachers are guilty of this right here and now. Let's keep reading. He says, "But with force and with cruelty you have subjugated them. They were scattered because there was no shepherd." It says, "And they became meat to all of the beasts of the field and were scattered. My sheep wandered through the mountains and upon every high hill. Indeed, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and no one searched or sought after them." He's saying no one was seeking them out. No one was preaching righteousness. No one was bringing them back when they saw them walking in sin. Let's keep reading verse 7. "Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of Yahuah. As I live, says the Adon Yahuah, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock even became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd, nor did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and did not feed my flock. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of Yahuah. Thus says the Adon Yahuah, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock from their hand and cause them to cease from feeding the flock." All right, this is a current word. Those who are not preaching true righteousness of following the Messiah and keeping the commands of the Father, those who are bowing their knee to the world's agendas and teaching those that that's the way, he says, I will remove you from being a shepherd. I will remove you from your position. Listen to what else he has to say. "Nor shall the shepherds feed themselves anymore, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, so that they may not be meat for them anymore." Right? He's saying, I will cut off your opportunity for speaking lies, right? And causing my people to be scattered, right? I'll tear down your houses of worship. I won't have a place for you to preach and teach them against me any longer, right? You'll have no place to receive offerings and tithes, right? They will no longer feed you and make you fat while you let them starve from the fruit of the Spirit. And then he speaks of a true shepherd, starting in verse 11. For thus says the Adon Yahuah, I, even I, will search for my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeks out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. So I will seek out my sheep and will deliver them out of the places where they have been scattered in a cloudy and dark day. I will bring them out from the peoples and gather them from countries and bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and all of the inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel their grazing shall be. There they shall lie in a good grazing ground, in a rich pasture. They shall feed upon the mountains of Israel. We have to stop here because this is talking about the great shepherd when he blasts the trumpet, right? And he shouts and he gathers all of his sheepfold from all across the earth and he brings us to Israel, to Jerusalem, right? He says that we will be feeding on the high mountains. Go back to Isaiah chapter 2 and read it. This is our Messiah. Our Messiah is going to teach us the Torah from Mount Zion. Mount Zion is the high tops of the mountains that he's speaking of. Our Messiah is going to give us the true food, the true manna from the Father, right? He's going to be teaching us Torah. Let's keep reading in verse 15. I will feed my flock and I will cause them to lie down, says the Adon Yahuah. I will seek that which was lost and bring back that which was driven away and bind up that which was broken and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment. He's saying false pastors and preachers, right, that are leading the flock astray. He says the only thing that he's going to feed them is judgment. Verse 20. Therefore, thus says the Adon Yahuah, to them I, even I, will judge between the fat sheep and between the lean sheep, because you have thrust with side and shoulder and pushed all of the diseased with your horns until you have scattered them abroad. Therefore, I will save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey. And I will judge between one sheep and another. I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, my servant David. That is Messiah. That is our Messiah. It says he shall feed them himself and be their shepherd. I, Yahuah, will be their Elohim, and my servant David shall be prince among them. I, Yahuah, have spoken. I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the wild beasts to cease from the land, so that they will dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods, right? He likens his people to sheep, and he says the wild beasts, right? He likens them to other people, right? Like wolves dressed in sheep's clothing. He says he will cause those false teachers to cease from being on the earth. He says we will dwell safely and we will have one shepherd, one rabbi, one teacher. That's our Messiah. Verse 26, I will make them and the places all around my hill a blessing, and I will cause the showers to come down in their season. They shall be showers of blessing. The tree of the field shall yield its fruit, and the ground shall yield its increase, and they shall be safe in their land. They shall know that I am Yahuah, when I have broken the bands of their yoke and delivered them out of the hand of those who enslaved them. Verse 28. They shall no more be a prey to the nations, nor shall the beast of the land devour them. The beast, he's talking about people, right? No longer shall those who are running the show, no longer will they devour us, right, with their wicked plans and agendas. It says, but they shall dwell safely, and no one shall make them afraid. I will raise up for them a planting place of renown, and no more shall they be consumed with hunger in the land, nor shall they bear the shame of the nations anymore. What's the shame of the nations, right? Pagan traditions, right? Or the fact that our school systems, our educational systems, even the medical system has all been made over, right, by the elite. The elite are making sure that the nations are indoctrinated in what they want you to believe and see, right? They are putting veils over people's eyes so they don't see the truth, and so they don't live righteous lives, right? And so we don't look to food as medicine, right? So that we look to their sorcery to heal us. That's the nations. That's what he's talking about, these evil, wicked rulers and pharaohs in the earth right now. He says we will no longer bear the shame of them, the shame of what they taught and indoctrinated us with. We will no longer bear that shame. It says right here, thus they shall know that I, Yahuah, am their Elohim, and I am with them, and they, the house of Israel, are my people, says the Adon Yahuah. As for you, my flock, the flock of my pasture, you are men, and I am your Elohim, says the Adon Yahuah. Right? He's going to lift us up, and he's going to take away the shame that was placed on us by the worldly system, and we will be completely covered in his righteousness. We will have bodies made over just like our Messiah, right? We won't need anything else, right? We're not going to believe any other lies because there will be no other ruling leaders. It will only be Messiah. It will only be truth and righteousness that will go forth into the nations. No more lies. No more sorcery, no more fake medicine, no more fake education, no more indoctrinating children, right, for them to go towards the grave. No more of that wickedness. It stops when the great shepherd appears. Hallelujah for that time. I can hardly wait for that trumpet to blow. I can hardly wait to see the face of my Messiah. I can hardly wait to hear his audible voice, right? I can hardly wait to only be in a time with rest on all sides and righteousness going forth from the one great shepherd. No more deception. I can hardly wait for that time. The world is going to be redeemed, right? All of the earth is going to have this glory all upon it, right? And it will be because glory is flowing out of Mount Zion. Glory is flowing from the Torah, who put on flesh, who teaches us about himself and teaches us about the Father. I can hardly wait. That's what I look forward to the most. I look forward to that the most, to being made over, right? For the priesthood to be refined during that time. And then he offers us back to the Father. Then we get to see the Father, and we dwell with the Father in New Jerusalem. Hallelujah. I can hardly wait for this time, y'all. This is a great promise. This is what we need to meditate on and think about when we see the forces of evil looking like they're taking over. Honey, they're going to get paid for every one of their deeds. They're going to be paid, and they will not dwell among us anymore. He will separate them from us, and we will dwell peacefully in the land with our Messiah. Hallelujah. Now that we have rejoiced about this prophecy of the great shepherd coming, right, to redeem the flock and make us over, now we see that there's a prophecy in chapter 35 against Edom, right? Esau, and this is what it says, starting from verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say to it, Thus says the Adon Yahuah, I am against you, O Mount Seir, and I will stretch out my hand against you, and I will make you a desolation and a waste, and I will lay your cities waste, and you shall become a desolation. Then you shall know that I am Yahuah, because you have had a perpetual hatred and have delivered the sons of Israel to the power of the sword in the time of their calamity and in the time of the punishment of the end. Therefore, as I live, says the Adon Yahuah, I will prepare for you bloodshed, and bloodshed shall pursue you, since you have not hated bloodshed, therefore blood shall pursue you. Thus I will make Mount Seir a desolation and a waste, and cut off from it the one who passes through and the one who returns. I will fill its mountains with the slain men. On your hills and in your valleys and in your rivers they shall fall who are slain with the sword. And I will make you a perpetual desolation, and your cities shall not be inhabited. Then you will know that I am Yahuah. So let's stop and let's talk about this, because there's a double reference, right? So when the children of Israel, or you can say Judah, the southern kingdom, when they were going into their exile to Babylon, It was Jacob's own brother, Esau, right? The Edomites who were helping Babylon come through, right? He was helping them seek passage through, an easy passage to get to them. Now, I don't know if you remember, but it's in the book of Numbers. I will leave it here. But the children of Israel, right, as they left Mount Sinai, as they were leaving the wilderness and they started making passage through the wilderness, they were seeking passage through the territory of Esau, through the territory of the Edomites. And his own brother told him, you shall not pass. You cannot come through this area. And the children of Israel were weeping because they were having such a hard time going through passages of the wilderness. And his own brother, Esau, Jacob's own brother, said, you cannot pass here. But to Israel's enemy, oh, come on through and go ahead and get the brothers. Go ahead and take my brother, right? And it was in the heart of Esau during the time of the Babylonian exile. We see that same spirit of Esau, hating his brother, right? And loving the enemies who hate his brother. And so we see right now that there's a prophecy against that hatred. It still stands, y'all. Go back to Isaiah chapter 63. Our Messiah is going directly to this area. And it says that his garment is dyed with blood because he's treading the winepress of those who still hate his sheepfold, those who still persecute his sheepfold. He is going through, and that place will be made a desolation. This is a double reference, right? The hatred of Esau still stands. Let's jump back to the chapter 35, Ezekiel, and let's go back into verse 10. All right. So this is the judgment of Edom or Esau. He says, because you have said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, we shall possess them. And he's talking about the two kingdoms that were split, northern and southern. But when they saw Judah being taken away to the Babylonian exile, they had eyes on the land, right? What was the fight between Jacob and Esau? Jacob, who was later named Israel, got the blessing of the firstborn because Esau despised the birthright. And so now we see the hatred of Esau, aka Edom, hating his brother. And now he wants the promise of the land and the territory for himself. And that's why he was helping Nebuchadnezzar to seek passage through to help destroy his brother so that he can have back what he lost. But he didn't lose it. He gave it to his brother, right? He gave it to him for a pot of lentils. This is a picture of giving up your spiritual birthright for something in the here and now, for something in your flesh that's going to burn up and not mean anything in the future. And this is Yahuah addressing the hatred of Esau. He says, as I live, says the Adon Yahuah, I will treat you according to your anger and according to your envy, which you have showed out of your hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged you. All of us will know who Esau, who Edom is at the very end. I know there's a fight about that now, but he will make it very clear who they are in the very end. All right. Verse 12, he says, then you shall know that I am Yahuah. I have heard all of your blasphemies which you have spoken against the mountain of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate. They are given to us to consume. Thus with your mouth you have boasted against me and have multiplied your words against me. Our Yahuah says that when those who speak against us, those who seek out our destruction, he says he has heard them boast against him, right? Because we are born of his spirit. So if we're doing his will upon the earth and there are people who are plotting and planning against us, this is the same judgment, the same hatred of Esau against his brother Jacob. Then it's the same hatred being exercised right now. And he says, when you speak against them and you say, we shall take over them, we shall take over their possessions, he says, you have spoken against me and I have heard it. Let's finish out today's reading. It says, I have heard them. Thus says the Adon Yahuah, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make you a desolation. As you rejoiced at the inheritance of the house of Israel because it was desolate, so I will do to you. You shall be a desolation, O Mount Seir and all of Edom, all of it. Then they shall know that I am Yahuah. Deep in Word family, that's all that I have for you today. Until tomorrow, Yah bless.